This is the story of a single, fatal mistake. The mistake that became the Soviet Union's Vietnam. The year is 1979. The Soviet Union is a global superpower. Its massive Red Army seems invincible. Next door, in Afghanistan, a pro-Soviet government is collapsing. The Soviet Politburo in Moscow faces a choice. They fear losing influence to the United States. They decide to send in troops to restore order. This was the fatal mistake. They expected a quick, surgical operation. They believed they would be welcomed as liberators. They predicted the mission would last mere months. They were disastrously wrong. On Christmas Eve 1979, Soviet tanks rolled across the border. They immediately found themselves in a country they did not understand. This was not a conventional war. They were not fighting a visible army. They were fighting the Afghan people, known as the Mujahideen. These fighters were defending their homes. They used the brutal, mountainous terrain as a fortress. They waged a relentless guerrilla war. The powerful Soviet tanks were ambushed in narrow passes. The advanced Hind helicopters were vulnerable. The United States, seeing a chance to bleed its Cold War rival, began to secretly fund the Mujahideen. The CIA supplied billions in weapons. Most famously, they provided the Stinger anti-aircraft missile. Suddenly, Soviet air superiority was shattered. Helicopters were shot from the sky. The war became a bloody, grinding stalemate. Soviet soldiers, mostly young conscripts, were demoralized. They were trapped in a fight they could not win. The quick operation stretched into 5 years, then 7, then 9. It became a national wound, a bleeding ulcer. It was a perfect parallel to America's nightmare in Vietnam. The cost was immense. Over 15,000 Soviet soldiers died. Tens of thousands more were wounded. The war drained the Soviet economy, which was already failing. In 1989, after nearly 10 years, the Soviets finally gave up. The last soldier crossed the friendship bridge back home. It was a public, humiliating defeat. The fatal mistake had destroyed the myth of Soviet invincibility. The economic and political rot accelerated. Just 2 years later, the Soviet Union itself collapsed. The war in Afghanistan was not the only cause, but it was the fatal mistake that sped up the end.